about hypertension. Our topic is hypertension, the silent threat, and how our diet can help fight it. Yes, and I said that if diet can be the problem for hypertension or can be the cause of hypertension, then it means that diet can also be a solution. And that's why we're having this conversation this morning. If you know anybody at all that you think needs this particular conversation, please forward the link to them. We're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH, and on YouTube we're at Z Multimedia. Please share with them so that they can be a part of the conversation this morning. My guest is Gracia Hilary Friku, and she is a registered dietitian. She joins me over the phone lines for this conversation. Gracia, good morning. How are you?
Hi, good morning.
How are you
I'm all
doing?
right, thank you.
Fantastic. Good to have you this morning.
Good to be here. It's
Mm,
always amazing to be on Z Multimedia.
mm. All right. Anyway, thank you very much for making time. So let's get into our conversation. We're talking about hypertension. Maybe my first question to you is let's try to get people to understand what exactly, when we talk about hypertension, what are we talking about?
In simple terms, we'll just say that it's a silent killer, right? In relation to blood pressure spike and the like. So when your blood pressure is higher than expected, we say that you are hypertensive. That's
Mm,
in simple terms.
Why is it referred to as a silent killer?
Because nobody really realizes the symptoms or the signs until sometimes it's too late. You know, some people, those who regularly check their blood pressure, they might see it,
Mm,
but those who don't check it, it's not like an infection that when you get an infection, you start seeing certain rashes and the likes on your body. Where hypertension is a very slow killer. If you're not someone who checks your vitals over a period of time, you wouldn't realize it. And when you realize it, it might probably be too late.
mm,
Yeah.
I see. But why do you think that people, have that and they don't know it? What would be the reason?
The major reason is because a lot of Ghanaians or a lot of us don't do regular checkups like we
Mm,
preach to people. So we only wait when we are like 30, 40, or we see that we are not feeling very well. And we decide that, oh, it's about time. Let me do a checkup. Let me see if everything is okay. But you don't need to wait till there's a problem before you go and check if you are hypertensive or if you have any other disease condition present.
mm. I see. But how often must people? I mean, should people be checking um, their BP and all of that?
I would say that if you have family history of blood pressure or hypertension, check it at least every other day just to be on the safe side. That is, if you have the blood pressure machine at home. But you can do like a general checkup like twice or three times in a year to be on the safe side as well.
Mm. But if you say family history, what do you mean?
That means maybe your dad or your mom or someone in your family had hypertension, died out of hypertension, is currently dealing with hypertension. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. But how dangerous can untreated hypertension be or become?
Very, very dangerous. When you don't treat hypertension, you're at risk of heart diseases, stroke, sometimes kidney issues, eye complications, your nervous system can shut down, your blood vessels can rupture. There's so many things. You know, hypertension usually happens when there's so much pressure over time,
Mm.
right? So your systolic pressure, your diastolic pressure, that is the two numbers, which is usually supposed to be around 120 by 90. So if it's around 140 by 90, we term it as hypertension. So blood is going through your veins and your arteries and your capillaries in a massive force, right?
Mm.
And then your kidneys regulate your blood pressure levels. So in a situation where the pressure goes so high, your kidneys wouldn't be able to do that. So your kidneys start failing.
Mm.
There's a high chance of you getting a stroke because maybe you can have clots in your brain or something, heart disease. I mean, there's so many things that comes up with hypertension. That's why we call it a silent killer because by the time you realize it might be too late.
Mm.
Yeah.
I see. But how prevalent is that in Ghana? And should we be worried about the growing numbers?
Oh, we should be worried. I came across two articles, I think one from WHO. I think Ghana 2023 nationwide steps survey. They found out that about 21% of adults between the ages of 18 and 69 had hypertension. And I think in 2024, WHO also estimated around 1.4 billion adults between 30 and I think 79 that had hypertension in 2024. And about 44% were not aware of like they didn't even know that they had hypertension. So it's very, very prevalent. It's occurring. I wouldn't say it's prevalent as much as diabetes because I know the numbers of diabetes, but it is more than a 40%. It is a lot of people, a lot of young people are dying out of hypertension. So it's really scary nowadays.
A lot of young people. So yeah, that means that you are seeing more younger adults, being diagnosed than it was before.
Oh yeah. Yeah, a lot of young people are being diagnosed as compared to in the olden time.
But what factors are driving this particular trend?
Most of the time people would say that oh, we don't take a lot of salt, we don't do this, we don't do that. But it's not just about salt. Things that can naturally, not necessarily naturally, but things that can influence someone to get hypertension, obviously, is a high salt intake and then overweight and obesity. So, if you have your visceral fat more than your muscle mass and the likes, if you are physically inactive, if you're very, very dormant, you're a sedentary worker, you just sit in your car, go to the office, and you don't do any form of exercise. And then when you don't eat healthy, you eat a lot of saturated fats, a lot of junk food, a lot of salts, condiments. I mean, a whole lot of things that you know that isn't healthy. Then alcohol intake and smoking, as well as not being able to rest, I mean, sleep, poor sleep, and overthinking and stress. These are major factors that can cause hypertension. You might think, oh, but I'm eating well, but you're not sleeping well, you're not drinking enough water, you're taking alcohol over the weekends, you're smoking. I mean, all these things are a factor. And then things we cannot change. We all know that metabolism reduces with age. So somebody that is probably 30 years is active than someone who is 60 years. That we understand. So somebody who is 60 years is more prone to hypertension. But when you do all these other things I've mentioned earlier, the 30-year-old is also going to be more prone to hypertension because he or she doesn't realize the effect of the things they are doing now. So people say, oh, hypertension, they are penny for yare. But then again, now we are facing a lot of issues that is happening with young people.
And it's
So
largely
yeah,
because of, I mean, from the things you mentioned, largely lifestyle related, isn't it?
yeah, lifestyle related, basically.
I see. Now, so who is most at risk? I know you've mentioned that young people these days are developing same, just like adults and the likes, But who is most at risk? Is it the older folks? Is it the young people? Or everybody?
At this point, I'll just say everyone is at risk. So everyone just needs to be careful because initially we used to say the older people because of slower metabolism and they not being physically active and the likes. But everyone is at risk, especially if your family has history of hypertension. You need to be extra careful, but everyone is at risk.
And does a family history thing automatically mean someone will develop hypertension?
Oh, not necessarily. Family history doesn't mean that. It means that you should be careful because if you are not, you're susceptible to it, doesn't mean that you have it. You get me? So, I mean, it's there, but you should be extra careful. It's like a family that almost everyone wears glasses as a result of glaucoma. The fact that that is in the family doesn't mean you're going to get it. But if you don't take care of your eyes well, you are at least almost an 80% sure that you're going to get it in the near future. So that's basically it.
I see. I think it's good we're giving this particular breakdown so that people can understand what we're talking about. We're going to connect it to diet very soon, but let me just announce the phone lines once again, in case
Okay.
anybody wants to, join a conversation. So if you just tuned in, this is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM with me, Nitrebi Hammond, and this morning my guest is Gracia Hilary Kriku. She's a registered dietitian, and we're talking about hypertension and how your diet can actually help you fight it. And so that is what we're talking about this morning. You are free to join the conversation. Feel free, send me a WhatsApp on 0544321019. 0544321019. I'd love to read all your messages for you. And you can also call us on 030395661. 030395661. And we're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH, and on YouTube we're at Z Multimedia. Please drop a comment under the live stream as well, and I'm happy to read all of them for you. Okay, so let's continue the conversation. So talking about the link between that and hypertension. Diet and hypertension. Now, as a dietitian, how significant is the role of your diet in preventing or even managing hypertension?
I would say that because we pay attention to people's diet and we try to streamline it in a way that it makes it easy for them to add their medications and the likes. There are certain things that when you're hypertensive, you can eat and you can't eat. For example, if you have high sodium levels in your body, you would want you to take more potassium food so that there will be the whole exchange thing. So as sodium is going into your body, potassium is coming out, and vice versa. But that's a bit technical. But we give you better options. A lot of people say that, oh, when you're hypertensive, don't take salt or take this amount of salt. But the condiments you are using, the natural spices you are using, all have an element of salt in there. So if you have a dietitian, we are able to streamline your meals in such a way that if you are supposed to consume less than 5 grams of salt per day, right? For example, that's like a teaspoon of salt. We are able to spread it within the meals you have within a day, because not everyone will be able to do all those calculations and put things in place just to make sure that you are eating the right amount of salt, right amount of calories, meeting the right dietary recommendation. So if you see a dietitian, they are able to work around your diet, work around your salt intake so that you are within the right ranges. So I mean, diet plays a major role because we wouldn't just eliminate salt completely, but we'll give you other sources that will still meet the dietary requirements that you require in a day.
But can changing the diet significantly reduce the person's risk?
Oh, I would say yes. Because if someone is taking a lot of junk food, taking alcohol, smoking, and doing all that, and now the person switches from all that to a healthier option, you are not as at risk as much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if the person stops, doesn't eat well, but still does the alcohol, the other things, doesn't exercise, chances are that they are going to they are going to experience it, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I see. But if you also stop those ones and you eat well, I mean, how do I even put it? So if you stop those ones, you stop all the alcohol and those things, and you still have a problem with your diet, does it mean that you can still get it?
Oh, yeah. I was going to give a scenario where people say, oh, but I don't add salt to my food. Then I proceed to ask questions about, but you're adding seasoning cubes to your meal, you're adding salted fish, you're adding processed meat, canned foods, packaged snacks. What about the extra, I mean, salt and pepper or extra sauces that you add to your meal when you go to a restaurant? You might say, oh, I'm not adding salt to my food, but all these things form part of the total amount of salt we consume in a day. Do you get it? So obviously you would say, oh, I'm eating well, I'm eating healthy, but that is why you need a dietitian so that they can let you know what to eat, in which amount, in which proportion,
Right.
and then I'm sure you'll be good to go from there. Because you can say I'm not eating salt, but you're eating crackers. You and I know crackers has an amount of salt in there, and you are eating more than the estimated number that you're supposed to consume in a day. Or you are taking sardines, for example, or you are taking processed meat chunks. All these things they have an amount of salt content in there that is even going to be more than the 5 grams the less than 5 grams that you're supposed to consume in a day. So that is another option. I mean, you are eating healthy, yes, but are you paying heed to the healthier option that the dietitian is giving you?
So is it just salt generally, or why does salt even really matter in this?
Well, I don't know how to explain it for I'm trying to not make it too scientific, but
Mm,
um you know salt retains water,
mm,
right? Yes, so there's this whole thing that we learned back in school, sodium going into your bloodstreams and potassium being taken out, right? So
mm,
that is it's a bit more scientific. I'm trying to find a simpler way to explain it, but let's just stick to the fact that taking a lot of salt can go a long way to affect you,
mm,
because if I'm gonna explain it, I have to break it down by saying that if you want to reduce the number of salt in your system, it has its own should I say how do I put it? It has a whole lot of things that goes a long way to affect us.
mm,
Do you get it? So I'll just say that in order not to be too scientific, let's just reduce the amount of salt we are consuming and then take other sources of maybe potassium or other things that our dietitian is recommending.
mm. Well, I mean, many of us love salty foods. Of course, I mean, even in fact, if you're even making any food at all and you don't put salt, sometimes people had to fetch the table. Is it table salt they call it? Yeah.
Mm.
Yes, and then put it inside. How scary is that one compared to cooking and putting the salt in the food directly?
So it's very scary. Let me try and break down the scientific
Mm,
thing I was talking about to you. So when you consume too much salt, right, your body is able to hold onto more water. So like a foam.
mm,
Yes, if you put foam in water, it's able to hold
can soak
or
it. Yeah.
retain so much water. Do you
Mm,
get it? And then extra water increases the amount of fluid in your bloodstream. So imagine having foam,
mm,
like I said, you already have water in it and you're adding extra water. It makes it so heavy
mm,
and it increases the density, right? Now
mm,
imagine in your bloodstreams you are taking a lot of salt, which retains a lot of water. Okay, it becomes difficult for the bloodstreams to pump the blood to the several parts of the body because now there's extra water. It requires a lot more pressure. Now your heart has to work extra hard to pump the blood because of the increased volume of water and blood in your system.
mm,
Now, when all this happens, because of the pressure that is happening, water is rising, blood is rising, and then the blood pressure is increasing because now your heart is requiring more, like extra strength to push it to the several parts of the body.
mm,
So at the end of the day, you realize that hypertension is coming there. So that is the whole salt situation. That's the simplest I can explain it.
mm,
I was using the salt and potassium thing because um during when I was in uni, my lecturer told me something about physiology, and he used to say this thing: sodium in, potassium out, potassium in, sodium out. So if you want to reduce the salt content in your body, you take foods that are high in potassium, like plantain, like banana, like potatoes.
mm,
Do you understand? So you realize that when you're doing a hypertensive diet for somebody who is hypertensive, they tell you that, oh, maybe take boiled plantain or take boiled potatoes. They try to give you something that is rich in potassium and less in salt because we don't want your bloodstreams to have a lot of pressure as a result of sodium retention, water retention, and blood volume increase.
mm.
I hope I've been able to explain it well for you.
Yes, I,
So
I,
yes,
I
back
get it. Mm. So,
coming all the way
yeah, go
down,
ahead.
whether or not you are consuming salt from the table or you're consuming salt that you're putting in your meal,
Mm,
it's still potassium. At the end of the day, it's still going to cause the same harm.
mm. All right. So it's still sodium. You went to say.
Yeah, it's still sodium, sorry.
That's okay. Now, what do you call it? There's an issue about, you know, there's something around sugar and even salt. People say that sometimes you can take a lot of it. I mean, you can take the sugar and drink a lot of water to sort of, I don't know, maybe dilute it or something. Does that work in this particular case in any way? Maybe you take the salt normally, but you drink a lot of water. Can that solve the problem around the hypertension?
No, it doesn't. It's more like doing extra to your body. Salt is already retaining a lot of water, and you're adding extra water. I don't know if you understand where I'm coming
Mm,
from.
mm.
It's not going to
Explain.
make so I use the foam as an example. Let me use a pipe as an example so that we can get it. Now imagine that you have a pipe at home, and then when you take a lot of salt, obviously the pipe is able to retain a lot of oil, a lot of water, sorry, from the salt.
Yeah.
And then it's increasing the pressure of the movement of the pipe, right? And you're adding extra water to it. Obviously, the pressure, if the pressure was about 100, it's going to move to about 120 or 130.
Mm,
Do you get where I'm coming
yeah.
from? So it's going to increase the water retention in your system. Basically, that.
So the solution would be to cut salt. I mean, to find a way to reduce salt, but you still drink a
Yes,
lot of water because you said that's one of the causes. Those who don't drink a lot of water can also develop hypertension, isn't it?
yes, please. Yes, please. So you can cut down your salt instead of one way to cut down your salt is doing a Mediterranean diet. So having what I mean by a Mediterranean diet is having seafood, because seafood has a lot of salt in there,
Yeah.
right? So instead of using the processed salt to cook, you can use onions, garlic, ginger, the natural herbs that we have, rosemary, all those things, and then you can have seafood, and then you can use that to make your meal rather than the processed meals. That is a way of reducing the salt content in your system. And also introduction of high potassium diets. I mentioned plantain, potatoes, and then also banana. Right, there are other options, but these ones are the ones that come to mind easily. And then if you stop consuming alcohol, I mean, you do all the healthy things you are told to do as your dietitian is telling you, I'm sure you're good to go. And the whole sugar salt thing, too much of everything is bad. So
Right.
too much of sugar, too much of salt is not advisable.
Okay. All right. So now, like I was saying earlier, a lot of people like salt. How can somebody realistically reduce their salt intake and not feel like they are losing flavor? What alternatives are there that they can actually explore?
So the first thing that most dietitians tell you is a DASH diet. That is a dietary approach to stop hypertension. So what we do is that we do plenty vegetables, plenty fruit, lean proteins, unsalted nuts and seeds, low fat. I mean, when you go to a dietitian, they'll give you like more explanation. But we like salt. I mean, I like salt. I'm sure you like salt as well.
Yeah, we do.
But if you what I do in my house, let me give an example. What I do in my house is I use the natural things to cook. So I have people that have hypertension in my family, right? So I'm not used to cooking with salt. I'm used to cooking with a lot of vegetables, a lot of should I say um nuts, seeds and nuts. Yes, a lot of fruit, a lot of lean meat, shellfish and all that, scaled fish, shellfish, all those things. Because you know that there's an amount of salt that is in those foods. Now, practically, it's very difficult for a normal Ghanaian to stay away from salt. It's very, very
Yeah.
difficult. But you can start in a very simple way. You reduce your intake of deep fried foods, sugary foods, and sweets, because all these things have some salts in there. And then saturated fats transfer to pastries, all the pies, the cakes, all these things. And then processed meat. We have a lot of meat chunks and processed meat, and then food high in sodium. You can start by cutting off your crisp, your chips, your Doritos, your Lay's, your Pringles. Yeah, basically that. You can cut down all those things, all your processed drinks, all your pastries, all those things. And then you can focus on the dash diet, which involves the fruits, the vegetables, the lean meat, the beans, nuts, oily seeds, and everything. And instead of using salt to season your meal, you can try the garlic, ginger, onion, fresh herbs. I think you can also do precase, you can do turkey berries, You can do lemon juice. You can do apple cider vinegar. I mean, these are all examples. When it comes to fruits, there are several fruits that you can consume. I mean, I don't like to limit people. I open it up to people. Unless of course you have a kidney situation where we need to limit certain things, you are at liberty to eat any type of fruit or vegetables that you want to consume. When we talk about fats, we have avocados, nuts, seeds, fish, so oily fish because they are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which have some amount of salt in there, and then high fiber intake. So I'm sure on every show I talk about high fiber. So whole grains, fruits and vegetables, beans, lentils, cowpea, cashew nuts. I mean those things. And most importantly, have a balanced diet. So make sure that everything that you're consuming is in its right proportion
Right.
and you are consistent. You don't just say, I'm having a balanced diet today, then tomorrow I'll go and have a big chunk of loaded fries with a bottle of Coke. No, do it gradually, slowly, and then obviously involve a dietitian because a lot of people start a diet plan. Oh, I'm on a diet, I'm on a diet. After about a week or two, they give up. You get it? And then physical activity, limiting alcohol. I mean, I think I've said a lot that your listeners have heard enough for already.
Okay. So I want us to try and make this a bit practical. Now, one of the foods that usually tastes like sea, like the sea in this country,
Yeah.
is light soup.
Oh,
Oftentimes,
right.
people put a lot of salt in there. Let's try and, sort of, okay, what would be a replacement? One replacement, or I don't know how many you can mention,
Okay.
for the salt in light soup. For instance, anybody's doing light soup now, you're saying that, let's cut the salt. What can a person put in to still get a nice flavor without, putting in salt?
The only thing that actually comes to mind is fish, not salted fish, like the normal fish. And if you want extra flavor, you can add carrot to your garden eggs. You can decide that, okay, if I'm not using garden eggs today, you can use pawpaw in replacement of garden eggs. Or you can use pumpkin. Pumpkin comes by difficult. Pawpaw comes in season. So either you're using pawpaw, you're adding a bit of carrot, you're adding fish or some beef. Yeah, that works. That
Okay.
works. Yeah, I
I
think
see.
that's cool.
All right. So what are some? Let's move away from that and let's talk about
Okay.
some other sources of salt. That people don't know about. Which what kinds of foods are taken normally in this country that have some salt that we have no idea about?
Oh, I think I mentioned, okay, let me just go over it again. So we all know table salt, obviously. We know cubes, the seasoning cubes has a lot of salt in there. Now, sausages, right? Sausages has a lot of salt. Bacon, ham, corned beef, luncheon meat, hot dogs. So that is for the meat options. When we look at the packed foods, so instant noodles has a lot of sodium. Canned vegetables, canned vegetables, not the frozen vegetables. Vegetables that are canned, they're usually soaked in brine solution, that is salt solution. Yeah. So you may see mushroom in brine solution, peas in brine solution, carrot in brine solution. All these things has a large amount of salt. And then we have potato chips, um, biscuits, crackers, popcorn with added salt, salted peanut, and I think, yes, the sauces and condiments. So ketchup, soya sauce, barbecue sauce, salad dressing, chili sauces. Yeah, and then cheese and dairy products. I think cheese has a high amount of salt in there. And then bread and baked products. I spoke about pastries earlier. So we use salt for bread, buns, cheese buns, pizza, anything that has yeast, because salt is added to yeast to allow it to grow well, to be used for the bread or the pastry production. And then I think this will be a lot of people's favorites: fried chicken, meat pies, french fries, burgers, shawarma, loaded fries, obviously, because it has cheese in there, it has potatoes in there, it has sausages in there. And then the local things like the Kobe, momone, um, kako, and any other smoked fish, sorry, that has high amounts of salt in there used for preservation. Um,
So
yeah.
a little bit just whispered to me is asking that. So Hillary, so Joshua, what are you telling us to be eating then? Because all the things you mentioned, bread from whatever, it means that we can't eat anything.
So, Ghanaians, I don't want to use the word overstabi, but when they are trying to be on a diet, they cut out so many things. I said earlier that we don't do crash diet. We try to do it gradually and we take it in moderation. Now, I'm not saying that take bread out of your meal completely. It's like taking rice out of a Ghanaian man's plate. It's very difficult. Take it in moderation, take it a little at a time. If you do it a little at a time, it makes it easy for you. If you see me consuming Doritos, for example, Doritos is one of my favorite chips. That means it's been more than 3 months. And it's because I've suppressed my cravings over a long period of time. And I'm like, you know what? You only live once. Let me just have that one. But even after I have it, I make sure that every other meal I have after that is very healthy because Doritos has a high amount of salt,
Right.
an extremely high amount of salt. So everything has to be done in moderation. We all falter at a point in time. We add salt to so many things. But if you do it in moderation, a little at a time, don't stress yourself that, oh, I'm trying to be on a diet, so I'm cutting out salt completely. It's going to be like an addict who is trying to recover from taking whatever he or she is addicted to. You relapse.
Right.
So you have to do it a little at a time, take it in moderation, and cut it out gradually, not completely.
Okay. I see. Grace, hold on for me. Let me announce the lines once again in case anybody
Okay.
wants to join the conversation. So, yes, if you just tuned in, this is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM. Today, we're looking at hypertension and how your diet can actually help you fight it. And my guest is Gracia Hilary Freku. She's a registered a dietitian, and he joins us over the phone. She joins us over the phone lines for this particular conversation. You are free to also join us. Send us a WhatsApp. Let's hear your questions. Let's hear your comments. Right here on the show 0544 321019 0544 321019. Send me a WhatsApp. I'll read your messages for you. And also you can call us on 03039 56641 03039 56641. I'd love to also give you the opportunity to share your thoughts with us this morning. And you can engage us on our social media platforms as well. We're streaming live on Facebook at ZFMGH and on YouTube at Z Multimedia. Please also drop some comments under that and we'll read all of them for you. Now, Gracia, let's continue. I want to know about portions. Does the portions
Okay.
matter? The portions that we are taking, it doesn't matter in either, getting hypertensive or not.
I think it does because if you're supposed to consume less than 5 grams of salt in a day, right, and you're eating more portions than you are expected to eat, it's not just going to increase your weight, but it's also going to increase the amount of sodium content you are consuming. You are eating more than you're expected to consume.
Okay.
If you get it, so
Yeah.
yeah, it poses a negative effect on our lives.
So the threshold is 5 grams of salt a day.
Less than 5 grams.
Less than that.
Let me make it simple. A teaspoon. Yeah.
And yeah, we are
Not
eating things,
not
wow.
a not a heaped teaspoon. A flat teaspoon. Even that, it has to be less than. So if you can take like half the teaspoon, it's very possible. Think about it. If you are eating oats in the morning with bread, or maybe you're just eating the oats like that, and you're eating probably like a slice of bread or two, I don't think there's going to be as much salt in that two slices if you are sticking to that.
Mm.
And then you decide to have maybe fufu and light soup in the afternoon, and you replace your salt with maybe fish, or you add carrots to it, or you decide, okay, I'll use pawpaw to do my light soup or something. I'll taste very good. That'll probably have little amount of salt in there. And maybe in the evening, because it's a bit late, you decide that I'm going to get a cup of tea, or I'm going to have salad. The salad, it's condiment. You can decide to use lemon juice and everything, and not use the mustard and the salad cream and everything.
Mm.
Looking at this example I've given you, that's less than a half teaspoon of salt in all your meals.
Mm.
If you stick to the portion sizes that you're supposed to consume in a day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
see.
it's not difficult. It's very practical.
Okay, well, in Ghana here, I mean, away from that, we know that the foods that we take or we consume are quite limited, except a few people who are able to like go beyond the regular. We know if it's not your wache, it's probably your rice. If it's not your rice, I mean, your plain rice, maybe some jollof, some fufu, some, just a few things. Which of the foods that we eat now actually help significantly in dealing with hypertension, and which ones do not, or which ones have a very high chance of affecting us negatively when it comes to hypertension?
I always say that Ghanaians are very lucky and blessed because most of our meals are rich in high fiber, rich
Mm.
in fruits and vegetables and the likes. So I would say that, yeah, we might say we don't really have a lot of variety, but you can make variety out of your meals. Let me give an example before I continue. If I take yam, for instance, there's boiled yam, there's fried yam, there's mashed yam, there's yam balls, there's buttered yam, there's yam croquette. There's so many ways that you can make your meal better and make it taste better and all that.
But does
You
it?
get it?
Sorry, not to
Even
cut you. Does it matter if you are
okay,
eating mashed or whatever? Isn't yam yam?
yam is yam, but there are so many things you add to it to make it you to enrich it. You get it?
Mm.
Mashed yam, for instance, people add egg yolk, people add butter, people add fresh milk, right? It's usually given to babies.
Mm.
Yeah, but I still eat mashed yam though, anyways. Just saying. So
I wanted to say something, but I won't say it. Go on.
so it's still yum, but then you're adding other things to bring out the variety of it. Do you
Mm.
understand?
Yeah.
And like I was saying earlier that Ghanaians are very lucky. We have high fiber. So I said earlier that you can have high fiber foods to take away the salt. You can have contumely, akple, and what do we eat akple with anyways?
For
Toza
trinity.
and then yeah, I can't pronounce it, so let's just move on. The green soup, basically, all these things have an element of salt in there that you don't have to add added salt to
Mm.
get the necessary salt that you need in a day. Our fruits and vegetables, the oranges, the banana, the tomatoes, the avocado, all these things has some element of salt in there. So Ghanaians are very lucky. We just introduce ourselves to the fries and then the all those other
The junk
foreign
foods.
junk food.
Mm.
Yes, we are very lucky to have healthier options. So I feel like if we stick to the healthy options, it will go a long way to help us.
Mm. I see. So the healthy option. So are you saying that all the ones that we have, there are no, I mean, there's nothing wrong with any of them when it comes to, putting people at a risk for hypertension. So people can enjoy all the local ones, and there's nothing wrong with
Mm.
that. If they introduce a
There's
foreign,
nothing.
go ahead.
Finish up, sorry.
So yes, so if they introduce a foreign one, then that becomes problematic. Is that what we are saying?
That's what I'm saying. If we
Mm.
stick to our local dishes in moderation, emphasis is in moderation, because I'll tell someone that, oh, sardines has omega-3 fatty acids, so you can eat that. and people will be eating 5 or 6 cans of sardines, including the oil and all that. Eat according to the portion sizes allocated on your calorie sheet given to you by your dietitian. Don't go and eat more than because they said it's healthy. So yes, Ghanaian foods are healthy. I wouldn't advise we do a lot of foreign foods because they have a lot of hidden salt, hidden condiments in there. Unlike our Ghanaian foods that are straightforward, but it has to be taken in moderation. And variety is the spice of life. So if you're having rice today, tomorrow have yam, the following
Right.
day you can have cocoyam, so that you can have the necessary nutrients from all aspects of your meals. Yeah.
Okay. So foods like fried yam, fried plantain, kilewili,
Mm-hmm.
soup, stew, maybe rice dishes and all of that. I mean, they are favorite foods of a lot of people. Some people just munch on them. Some people, I mean, enjoy some of these things right after their meal and all of that. How should people approach these meals?
The best way to approach these meals is either to have it in the afternoon so that your body would have enough time to break it down before nightfall. Because if you eat kelewele I know kelewele is mostly done in the evening, but if you eat kelewele like 10 p.m. and you go to bed at 11, you are increasing your cholesterol levels because you don't know how long the oil that is being used to fry the kelewele has been there. If you get it. So I usually tell people that if you can, have most of your fried foods in the afternoon when your metabolism is at its peak so that it can break down the meals gradually. But if you're going to have it in the evening, then it should be in small portions and you don't go to bed immediately after. I know it's a delicacy for most Ghanaians and we can't cut it out of their meals. So if you can, do it in the afternoon when your body can break it down to the fullest and do it in moderation.
But for someone with hypertension already, somebody who is already hypertensive, do they have to cut, I mean, or completely avoid those foods?
If I think it depends on the level that you've reached, but I
Okay.
would advise as a dietitian that just eat it in moderation. You can cut it out for a while. Maybe once in a while you are craving, you can have it, but it doesn't mean that it should be an everyday thing. Because I believe hypertension and cholesterol levels have a relationship. Yeah.
I see. Now you spoke about eating something like kilewili late. I mean, let's move away from kilewili. But generally, does eating the timing of the eating actually make people hypertensive or put them at
Timing
risk?
is very timing is very, very important. Yes, it can put you at risk because um
Hello.
yeah, I'm here. I'm
Okay.
here.
Okay. Sure.
I was trying to put my thoughts
All
together.
right. All right. That's
So
fine.
timing is very, very important because if you consume um what meal is even high in salt? Let me take loaded fries, for example. You consume loaded fries around 10 p.m., right? Not only are you consuming high salt content, there's fat content in there because of the cheese and all the oil and stuff from the fried gizzard and the sausage and chicken and everything, right? So you are consuming that at 10 p.m. and you're going to bed at 11 and or even 12, and you are doing that over a long period of time. You are dormant, you are not working out as well. Not only are you going to have your blood pressure shot up, but you're going to also have cholesterol issues because your body wasn't able to break down the fat content that you consumed at that late time, and you did it over a long period of time. So now, because you're not working out, it has formed fat layers in your system, and then you're back to having hypertension and cholesterol, dealing with those two things at the same time.
I see. So clear. Maybe let's draw the line. What
Okay.
matters more? Is it the timing or what we eat?
I don't think I will pick one over the other. I will just say both of them matter.
Okay. I see. All right. So for somebody who buys food regularly outside, what healthier choices can they make?
Cook in your house. Cook in your house, or better
Maybe the person
still.
is a busy, very busy professional. Yeah.
So,
So,
we have people on
mm,
social media that are invested in cooking for other people,
mm,
cooking healthier meal options. I think I've seen quite a number of such people on my Snap. Yeah.
mm,
I'm not giving free advert to anybody. I almost mentioned the name, but I know people, I know dietitians that are invested in preparing healthier options for their clients. I
yeah.
mean, it's not part of their job description, but it's an added income, so they do it. I know people that they specialize in cooking healthy and nutritious meals. So instead of buying from just anybody, why don't you decide that let me buy a healthier option
Mm,
no matter the price? Because health is wealth. If you have a lot of money and your health is failing, you are just using the money you acquire to take care of yourself when you could have gotten yourself healthy and still maintain the amount of money that you were obtaining.
mm. I see. Right. So, I think that we touch on quite a number of things, and our time is up. We have to go, but I want us to, quickly address some of the common beliefs around hypertension. I think one of them is the fact that only older people get or develop hypertension, and I think you've spoken to that already. And maybe another thing too is the fact that if you don't add salt to your food, you cannot develop it. And I think you've also addressed that one as well. Now, people also say that hypertension is only caused by stress. What would you say to people like that?
It's not only caused by stress. I mean, it's a factor, obviously, but it's not only caused by stress. There are so many other things which I've mentioned earlier that causes hypertension.
Mm,
Do you
all right.
understand?
Okay. What would be your last message, or final message to people who are maybe who are living with, hypertension and those trying to prevent it? What will be your message to them?
I'll say this from a little bit of experience. If I mean experience as an experience I've had with people, not me. I'm not hypertensive. What I'll say is if you're hypertensive, please, please, please get yourself checked. Or if you have it in your family, get yourself checked. Go see your physician, go see your dietitian, take your medications, eat a balanced diet,
Mm,
be physically active. Because if you don't do any of these, or if you feel like, oh, my pressure has regulated, so I'm okay, and you stop taking your medications, you can black out, you can get a stroke, you can lose your life. There's so many things. It's a silent killer. It kills way faster than diabetes and other things because hypertension has a close relation with kidney problems. So
mm,
please, let's take care of ourselves. As soon as you get hypertensive and you start taking medications, know that your health is not going to be the same. But it's up to you to make sure that you are in the right space with regards to your health. So
mm,
do all the things that your physicians and your dietitians and everybody tells you so you don't end up with a stroke or end up with death
mm,
untimely.
mm.
Yeah, thank you.
Because I was just about to allow you to go, but there's a question here from
Oh,
one of
okay.
our. Yes. It says that please ask her about those who eat at 11 p.m. and lie down at 11:05 to sleep.
I'm so sorry. And that caught me off guard. That's a very bad attitude. That's a very, very bad attitude. I'll say that whatever time you eat, try and have at least 10 minutes of not necessarily physical activity, but stand or walk around for a while
10
before you
minutes.
even sit. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so try if it's I mean it's possible. Don't
Mm,
lie down right after eating. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to be active after eating. But that is why you don't need to eat too much than your body requires. Just
right.
eat enough to be filled up and then
Mm,
walk around after eating. I'm sure you'll be good.
okay. All right. Richard, thank you very much for your time. I'm really
You're
grateful
welcome.
that you joined us this morning. All right. Please do enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day as well.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. All right, so that was Gracia Hilary Freco. She is a registered dietitian, and she was my guest this morning. We spoke about how your diet, can help you fight hypertension, which is known as a silent killer, and we've spoken extensively about it. Now you have all the information that you need. But if you miss any part of the conversation, feel free, head to our YouTube channel. You can get to play back this particular conversation. The video will be there so that you can get to, understand exactly all the things around hypertension and how your diet can help you deal with it. We've given some suggestions in terms of what you can eat and what you cannot eat. So go and listen, and then it will help you greatly. You can also share the link with your family and friends so that they can also get to, get the knowledge that you are also getting. All right. So that's how we wrap up today on the Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM. We are back again on Monday for some more, interesting and fascinating conversations. Until then, please make sure you take care of yourself and keep listening to Z101.9 FM. My name is Nitra Bihamon. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Up next is A Brighter Side with